So here's an absolutely lovely Aqua El Glossy aquarium with some absolutely lovely goldfish in them. Now, goldfish are an absolutely mesmerizingly beautiful species of fish, which when you get the really, really nice ones, they just look like a living puppet. But one thing I guess everyone's just got to be aware of is the goldfish are a recessive gene. They are full of recessive genes, so they're definitely susceptible to more issues than your average fish. So if you are going to go, especially for your fancy ones, do think more like a pug breeder, or just be aware that you are taking on more recessive genes. You are taking on more of a challenge. But the thing that's really unfair about this is that some people have goldfish and just have absolutely no problem and don't run into any problems whatsoever. And then other people just go out of their way to do absolutely everything for their fish. Like these fish here are the most loved and the most cared for fish that you could absolutely imagine in an absolutely pimped out tank. But that doesn't seem to be a 1 + 1 = 2 situation. If you keep strong, dominant fish and you put them in a healthy tank and you give them good quality food, then you can pretty much guarantee that these fish are going to be okay. But with things like the goldfish, and especially the laterally compressed fancies, then it really isn't 1 + 1. There is absolutely a element of luck in it. And once again, I've seen some people not seem to take any care whatsoever with their goldfish, and they just seem to be absolutely fine. Whereas other situations, various tanks I've had in the past, and definitely this one, where absolutely every single precaution is taken and the fish are fed the best quality foods, kept in the absolute best quality water. But it is still the case where due to genetic issues, which are absolutely and totally not your fault nor your control, it can be a little bit heartbreaking at times. So if you are going to go into fancy goldfish, just go in with an open mind and just know that it is what it is. And if you do have a little bit of bad luck, it is not necessarily your fault. But they are very intriguing fish, and they're very beautiful fish, and I think it's very tempting. Okay, so I've just tested this water up, and there's basically no ammonia, no nitrite, no nitrate. pH is slightly alkaline, KH is about 8, and GH is probably around 14. So as far as these fish are concerned, this water is pretty well perfect. So the only other variable that can be, as far as this perfect water is concerned, they are also fed on the best quality food you can get. So here we've got some probiotics from New Life Spectrum, which would be my favorite food. We also have some Dainichi, and Dainichi Color and New Life Spectrum would be my favorite foods. So the fish are getting the best quality food they can get. There's got heaps of aeration. It's got heaps of filtration. The only other variable is water changes. So this tank's getting pretty much monthly water changes, which is very good. The only other thing is that over time, pheromones, phenols, and various accumulants will accumulate in the aquarium. I would not assume any issues at all, considering that it's getting cleaned once a month. But I do really love Polyfilter. So what Polyfilter will do is adsorb and absorb anything impure out of the water, and it will remove accumulants. So as far as accumulants are concerned, accumulants are things that accumulate in the aquarium. Over time, things accumulate, so the water changes help to defuse it down, and the Polyfilter will help to remove them. So let's call this one Big Tick. Okay, so I'm just doing a gravel clean in this tank at the moment, and this water is unbelievably clean. So whenever I see super clean gravel, then there's only ever two possibilities. One is that you're just feeding super clean food, and in this case, the fish have been getting almost totally probiotics from New Life Spectrum. This is a very, very good, very, very clean food. And considering how many fish is in this tank, and it's been about 5 weeks or something since there's even had a gravel clean, for the water to be that clean to come out of the gravel after 5 weeks with a whole tank of goldfish is actually really quite amazing. So the fish look really, really good, but I am going to recommend that we do start introducing more Dainichi. So I typically recommend that I'd be feeding about 4 times a week the probiotics, and then probably at least once a week in the Dainichi. I don't feed my fish every day, but in this particular case, I'm probably going to, considering how clean that gravel is, and a couple of the fish are just a little bit on the skinny side, realistically, they're very good. But I'm going to recommend a little bit more of this one going. I just think that I have a feeling that we're just going to see a little bit better results out of the fish. So I absolutely love the probiotics. I think it's really healthy and I think it's really clean. But for just pure results in the fish, I'd like to see a bit more Dainichi go. When I feed more Dainichi, I find the tank doesn't stay as clean as it does for the probiotics, but just the vibrance of the fish, the colour, form, health, I would just like to see a little bit more Dainichi, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I've just cleaned the gravel in this aquarium and it was very, very clean. I've given the tank a bit of a rescape, just tried to put a bit of dynamics and a bit of contour in there. I think it looks really cool. Change is king. Giving the tank a swap around is a great idea. We've put some of those ornaments out on the veranda to get some sun, to rotate them. And we've done a gravel clean and a water change. And now there's often a big correlation between how clean the gravel is and how clean the filter is. So that's a lovely big Aquarel filter. And it would be my bet that, considering it was only cleaned 5 weeks ago, and the gravel is so clean and the filter is flowing very well, I would be assuming the filter is very clean. So when the gravel is that clean and the filter has been cleaned recently, then it's up to you whether you want to clean the filter or not. The gravel is often quite an indicator of whether the filter needs cleaning. If the gravel's dirty and the flow isn't pumping so well, then you definitely want to clean the filter. Now this fella is an absolutely prized little treat, a little type of zebra pleco. Just a magnificent little fish. Beautiful for scavenging around the aquarium. Basically a little fella that you can forget you've got. Sleeps during the day, and then when it does come out, when you do see him, I think they take your breath away. They're a spectacular little fish. Now, if you are going away on holidays, the first thing I'd do is recommend you have a friend come and check your fish every now and then. They can even FaceTime you. And also make sure your friend's got my phone number. And that way, if you have a problem, you can just give me a call. I can come and fix the problem. But these JBL auto feeders are really good and they're very easy to set. And they work very well with these Aqua-L aquariums because they sit there very nicely. These auto feeders are a nightmare if you've got to put them in a hood because the condensation just trashes everything. So sitting up above like that, and then I would think that that's going to be very good, and you can go away and enjoy your holiday and come home to your happy, healthy, beautiful fish. And this tank has cleaned up very well, and I am very happy with this. It looks cool.